Good evening. Welcome to Tech Talk. Tonight, we will have interpretation available in Arabic, Amharic, Vietnamese, and Spanish. And if we go to slide number 3, please. In a few minutes, you will see the interpretation icon appear at the bottom of your screen. You will want to click on the interpretation icon, which will be a small globe. And if you are an English speaker, you will want to select either English or original audio interpretation off. Please know that this feature is not supported if you are using a Chromebook. Esta noche tenemos servicios de interpretación al español. En unos minutos usted notará que va a aparecer un icono al pie de la pantalla que dice Interpretation, es un globo. Usted quiere hacer clic en ese icono y entonces seleccionar español para escuchar la interpretación al español. Sepa que esta opción no está disponible si usted está utilizando un Chromebook. Es importante que seleccione un canal de audio en español si quiere escuchar la traducción al español. Can we go to slide number 4? And now we will introduce our Arabic interpreter, Summer.
أهلا بكم. أنا اسمي سمر، هكون مترجمة اللغة العربية معاكم الليلة، وهيكون في خدمات الترجمة الشفوية موفرة في اجتماعنا اليوم. تتوفر خدمات الترجمة الشفوية باللغة العربية، وفي غضون دقائق قليلة ستظهر أيقونة الترجمة في أسفل الشاشة. انقر على أيقونة Interpretation ترجمة واختر العربية. لا يتوفر هذا الخيار إذا كنت تستخدم كرومبوك. يجب على جميع الحضور تحديد قناة صوتية، حتى لو بتتكلم لغة الإنجليزية برضو لازم تضغط على اللغة الإنجليزية. إذا لديكم أي أسئلة تقدروا تكتبوا في مجال الدردشة، وسعيدين بوجودكم معنا اليوم. Thank you. شكرا جزيلا.
Thank you. And now we are going to introduce our Amharic interpreter, Tizita. Tizita, could you unmute yourself?
Sorry. እንደምናመሻችሁ ትዝታ እባላለሁ። የዛሬ የአማርኛ አስተርጓሚያችሁ ነው የምሆነው ለዚህ ለቲክቶክ ስልጠና። ለዛሬው ስልጠና የትርጉም አገልግሎት ይኖራል። የትርጉም አገልግሎቱን ለማግኘት ኢንተርፕሪቴሽን የሚለውን ይሄኛው የዓለም ምልክት ያለውን ተጭናችሁ የትርጉም አገልግሎት ማግኘት ትችላላችሁ። ክሮምቡክ የምትጠቀሙ ከሆነ ይሄ አማራጭ ከክሮምቡክ ላይ የለም። እንግሊዘኛ የምትጠቀሙም ከሆነ የእንግሊዘኛውን ለመምረጥ ኦሪጂናል ኦዲዮ ወይም እንግሊዘኛ የሚለውን መጫን እንዳለባችሁ እንዳትረሱ። አመሰግናለሁ።
Thank you. And if we go to slide number 5, please, we'll introduce our last interpreter, Min, for Vietnamese.
Xin chào quý vị, tôi là Bùi, tôi là thông dịch viên cho học khu Edmonds. Xin chào quý vị tới buổi họp ngày hôm nay về trò chuyện về công nghệ là Tech Talk. Và khi mà mình cần thông dịch, xin quý vị chọn cái phần ở dưới màn hình của mình có chữ Interpretation, hình trái địa cầu, và bấm vào đó thì mình có thể chọn một cái kênh âm thanh về tiếng Việt để mà được thông dịch. Cái tùy chọn này không có áp dụng nếu mà mình sử dụng cái Chromebook. Xin cảm ơn quý vị. Xin hãy lựa vô cái phần trái địa cầu.
Thank you. And now to start our presentation tonight for Tech Talk, and in a couple of seconds, we're going to start the interpretation feature. I'd like to introduce our interim district superintendent, Dr. Rebecca Miner, to read our land acknowledgement.
Thank you so much for having me, Elizabeth. No matter where we are in our homes tonight, I'd like to share our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place.
بقدم لكم النهارده معلومات عن
We acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Snohomish people, and their successors, the Tulalip tribes, who since time immemorial have taken care of, hunted, fished, and gathered on these lands. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and we honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and the water. By acknowledging these homelands, we commit to working with tribal nations to further the educational aims they have identified in our classrooms and our schools. I'd like to thank all of the people who are attending tonight. I see this is our largest crowd yet, so there are so many of you here to hear this important information. I'm so grateful to all of you. And I'm also thankful to our team who have shared this important information. Technology plays a huge role in your children's learning in our district. And I think that engagement is just absolutely key for our partnership as we work to serve your students. So I'm excited for you to learn more. And I hope that you have a wonderful evening tonight. I'd like to introduce you to Chris Bailey, our technology director.
Thank you, Dr. Miner, and good evening. I am Chris Bailey. I'm the Director of Technology for the school district. And I would also like to have Jason Naylod and Sean Schaefer introduce themselves.
Thank you, Chris. My name is Jason Naylod. I'm the interim K-12 Director of Student Learning.
Good evening. I'm Sean Schaefer, and I serve the Edmonds School District community as its Information Services Manager. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you both. So I wanted to provide a brief overview about what we'll be discussing at our first of what we hope to be several Tech Talk sessions throughout the school year. Our goal with these webinars is to make it easy for families to engage in their students' learning and to be a part of their school community. Tonight's topics will include Seesaw, which is the learning management system that is used for all students in Edmonds School District in grades K through 2, a brief look at the new Edmonds School District website, which was launched in August, an overview of Parent Square, a tool which connects families and students with their teachers and schools, and Skyward, which is the main source of student records, including family contacts, health information, and grades. With that, I'd like to pass it to Jason, who will provide us with an overview of Seesaw.
Thank you, Chris. I'm going to share my screen for a moment. So we're going to start with an overview of Seesaw tonight. As Chris mentioned, Seesaw is the learning management system for our students in Edmonds School District from preschool, kindergarten through 2nd grade. What that means is this app will mostly be used by students, and all digital assignments that their teachers assigned and they turn in will be done through Seesaw. Also, I want to mention that if you attended the last session, this piece on Seesaw will be the only thing about this session that's different than the last one. I'm going to switch and share a mobile device as we walk through Seesaw. So to get started with Seesaw, you will get an email from the Seesaw company asking you to join. This will be sent to the email that you have given to the school district and is entered in the Skyward system that Sean will be talking about a little later. Once you join Seesaw, you can download the mobile app, to be connected to your student, the teacher, and your student's work. When you first open the Seesaw app, you'll be at the home screen, which looks like what we're seeing here. And you'll see important announcements and notes from your student's teacher. To navigate through the Seesaw app a little bit, you'll see 3 buttons at the bottom labeled Home, Journals, and Notifications. To see all students that are associated with your Seesaw account, you can tap the Journals button, and a list of all your students will be there. To see the class or the coursework that your students are working on, you can tap the name of a student, tap the class, and you'll see a list of all the assignments that your student has submitted to their teacher. And you are able to view these assignments. You can like the comments similar to social media, and you can send a comment to the teacher about the assignment. To go back, you can tap the home screen again and then tap Journals. Another feature of Seesaw is you can send a message directly to the teacher from the Seesaw app by tapping the message icon at the top left of the screen. And then from there, you can tap Create Message at the bottom and start a new conversation. From here, to get back, you can tap the back arrow at the top left of the screen. If you need to see notifications that your teacher may have shared, you can tap the notifications icon at the bottom right. And we can see for this particular class, we've had no notifications. That's the very basic walkthrough of Seesaw. Again, this is something that preschool, kindergarten through 2nd grade students will be using to turn in digital assignments to their teachers in their class. With that, I'll stop the share and send it back over to Chris.
Thank you very much, Jason. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about the new district website, which was launched in late August. You can access it at the website address at the top of the screen. The first thing that I'd like to do is invite you to share any feedback or questions with the school district. This is a mobile view of the new district website, and on it you can find our feedback form by clicking the search icon here in the corner and selecting the questions button. This will launch a form that you can use to share any questions or concerns, as well as any feedback you have for the school district. I would personally like to invite you to use this feature to share any Tech Talk ideas for other topics that you feel would be important for us to share with our families and community. If you have any questions throughout the presentation about this evening's topics, please use the Q&A feature that is built into Zoom to send your questions in to us. We hope to have a few minutes at the end of our presentation material to answer any of those questions. Now more on the website. You've likely noticed some of the changes in our new website already. It is mobile friendly. What this means is that families don't need to install a mobile app on their phone in order to access critical district information. The website itself will adapt to whatever device you are using. At the top of the screen, you'll see a schools button. This is the easiest way to access the websites for each of our schools and instructional programs. Another item that I'd like to highlight is accessibility. Within our new website, there is a button in the lower right-hand corner called Audio Eye, and it can be used to access a variety of accessibility features that you might find useful. Another feature I'd like to share is built-in translation. At the top of the screen, you'll notice that I am viewing this web page in English. But by clicking on English, I can easily select one of 15 languages that the website is automatically translated into. We are constantly making changes to our website and responding to the feedback that we receive. So I strongly encourage you to check back often and to share any questions that you have about information you'd like to see more easily available to you. With that, I'm going to pass it back to Jason, who will be providing us some information on Parent Square.
Thank you, Chris. I'll share my screen again. So Parent Square is our newest communication tool that can send phone calls, text messages, and emails. If you download the app, you can additionally receive push notifications to your mobile device. The district, schools, and many classroom teachers are using this tool, and we plan to continue to expand its use throughout the school year. All parents have access to Parent Square from our students' records that are pulled from Skyward, which Sean will address later. You don't need to claim an account to receive the emails, text messages, and phone calls that are sent through Parent Square. There are several exciting features about Parent Square. First of all, it has automatic translation that's based on the language settings on your device. So messages that are sent from your student's teacher will automatically be translated into your preferred home language. You also have the option to select how many notifications you receive through Parent Square. You can choose to select the digest mode, which means you'll get one email at 6 p.m. each day that will include district news, school news, and classroom news. You'll also be able to have two-way communication with your student's teacher to send and receive messages in real time that will be automatically translated. If you're near a mobile device and you want to try Parent Square now, feel free to download the Parent Square app. You can get there by typing in the website URL that's displayed on the screen now, bit.ly/ESDPS-APP. Be sure to pay attention to capital and lowercase letters, as that website is case sensitive. And I'll pause for a moment if you want to go ahead and download the app. Once you get the app, you'll log in with your email or phone that's registered with the school. After you sign into the app, you can choose your notification preferences. To start, tap the menu in the top left corner that's marked with 3 lines. Then tap Account, and then Preferences. Next, tap Notification Settings. And finally, select how you'd like to be notified. From here, I'm going to stop sharing this screen and switch to a mobile device so you can see what Parent Square looks like when you're signed in. Takes just a moment to broadcast from the mobile device. Here we go. So when you sign into Parent Square, you'll see this screen, which is a stream of communication from the school district, the school, and the classroom. Here at the top, we can see there's a newsletter from the school district, and then communication from a child's teacher about a field trip to the zoo. And you can continue and see other notifications from the district, the school, and your student's teacher. If you want to send a direct message to the teacher with a question or a comment or any other communication, you can tap the message button at the bottom of the screen and then tap the pencil icon at the top right. From here, you can tap the plus sign that's in the circle, and you'll see a list of all of your students' teachers. From here, you can select the teacher you want to send the message to, or more than one person, and then tap done. And from here, you can type the message. And then you would hit send. This is a really good way to communicate with your teacher, as they will get a message either on their Parent Square or in their email, and they'll be able to respond to you right away. And all of those messages are translated automatically. From here, I'll stop sharing my screen, and we can hand this off to Sean to talk about Skyward.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, we're going to take a tour of Skyward Family Access. If you're new to Edmonds School District, you may be asking, what is Skyward? Well, Skyward is Edmonds School District's student information system, as well as its finance HR information system. But focusing on the student side of the software, Skyward is used to store our student education records, essentially the portfolio of a student's career in the Edmonds School District. Beyond that, it is used for several different activities. Parents can use Skyward to enroll their students in the school district. Teachers and school office staff use Skyward to track attendance, and parents can also participate in reporting attendance through Skyward, which I will demonstrate to you in a moment. Parents can check their food service accounts, their students' food service accounts for their balances and purchase history. Teachers will use Skyward to enter grades and track assignments. And that information is also visible to families as well as students. And in addition, there are other records that Skyward tracks and manages, including discipline records and health records. And while there is an interface for our staff and personnel, teachers to use to access Skyward, Skyward offers portals that are specifically designed for families and students. For families, the portal is called Family Access. And for students, it is called Student Access. And through both portals, both folks, families and students, see similar information. Skyward is also used to connect and feed data to other applications, such as Seesaw and Canvas. It feeds and rosters information into our Google workspace to set up accounts for students and staff. And it also feeds information into Parent Square, such as absence information to send out absence notices to families. There are a couple of versions of Skyward. There is the full version, is essentially accessed from the desktop or a laptop. And there's also a mobile version that can be accessed through the mobile app. You can search for the mobile app through your device's app store. Just search for Skyward. And in the results, look for the icon that you see on the slide. It's called Skyward Mobile Access. Download that app. And once you set it up, you'll have a convenient way to log in to Skyward Family Access and review information for your students. The nice thing about this approach is that you can set up your username and password one time in that app and then use a 4-digit code or a Face ID to access Family Access. In addition to this presentation, we have information on how to access Skyward on our website. You can select our Skyward Family Access page, and I will show that to you momentarily, and it'll give you some essential information for getting started with Skyward Family Access, as well as we have instructions on how to interact with the grades and how to report attendance in our grades and attendance pages. So let me access the district's website. So from the main district website, as well as you could do this from a school's website as well, you'll come to Families and choose Skyward Family Access at the top. From here, I can choose my language preference for looking at this information. And as I just kind of briefly scroll down through this page, it provides information on how to view report cards, how to change my password or email address, what to do if I forgot my login name or password, and again, some more essential information on what you can discover within Skyward Family Access. If I scroll back towards the top of the page, I'm going to find a convenient link here that says Family Access Login Page. Click here. When I click there, it's going to open up the full version login page for Skyward Family Access. Now, let's take a moment to talk about the process for gaining our usernames and passwords, because sometimes that is the biggest challenge for getting into Skyward. So when you enrolled your students at Edmonds School District, when that enrollment was processed and completed, you should have received an email with your username and a link on how to set up your password. If you did not receive that or it's not available, then there are a few options that you can use to gain access. From this screen, you can go ahead and click on the forgot user or forgot login / password link. And on this page, you can type in the email address that you had provided when you enrolled your student. And when you enter that in and click submit, then an email will be sent to that email account with your username, as well as instructions on how to reset your password. If for some reason you click submit and it tells you that it cannot process, cannot find your email address, or maybe after 20 minutes of waiting, you do not see the email sitting in your inbox, then we encourage you to contact your student's school office, and they will be able to assist you in sharing out the username to you and what email address is on file, and get you set up and getting into Skyward. So let's go ahead and take a tour of Skyward Family Access. We're going to do this from the mobile view. And I'm going to go ahead and just demonstrate putting in my parents' username and password. Just a little bit of insight into the username logic. It is the first 5 characters of my last name and the first 3 characters of my first name, with it then followed by a 3-digit unique number. So my parent tonight is Victor Sparrow. So I'm going to type in the first 5 characters of Sparrow, followed by the first 3 characters of Victor, and the unique 3-digit number is basically incremented based on the uniqueness of this first 5 characters. So if it's the first Victor Sparrow in Edmonds School District, it'll have a 000. If I'm the second Victor Sparrow, it'd be a 001. Again, the easiest thing to do is go through the forgot login password process, and it'll retrieve and share out your username to you. Then I'll put in my password. And again, if you download the mobile app, you can set this up one time and then use other means, easier means to gain access to Skyward Family Access. So when I come into Skyward Family Access from the mobile view, I will see my student's name in the message center. And if I have more than one student, I can go ahead and toggle between my 2 students in this case, or if you have more than 2, you'll see them listed here. I can see for Sam, I do not have any messages waiting for me to review. But if I switch to Anna, I can see that there are 7 unread messages. I just need to press on the unread link and it'll open up those messages. And I can go ahead and scan through and gain more information about my student. So in this case, I can see the food service account balance and payments that were made. I can see information that was posted here from my student's school. If I click on or press on the menu icon over in the top right corner, and I go to my menu screen, I can see that I have multiple options for looking at information. I'm going to switch over to my elementary school student, Sam, and we'll walk through the information that's available to me for my student. So if I select attendance, then what I'll be able to do is review the attendance history, the absence history for Sam. And I can see that Sam was absent on the 12th. And there's a pending request for an absence that's coming up tomorrow, where Sam will be absent for a medical appointment. If I want to report an additional absence, I will press the Add Absence Request link. And from here, I can go ahead and enter in the absence notice. So I will choose my date. So maybe on Monday, I can anticipate that my student Sam will be out for a medical appointment. Maybe it's a dental appointment this time. And if I want to specify a specific time frame that my student is out, maybe they're only out for a couple of hours, then I would just go ahead and select this toggle, and it'll open up the option to put in a start time and end time, so I can communicate that to my school. And so maybe Sam will be out from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then I'll choose a reason for Sam's absence. So I will choose appointment, medical, dental. And then I'll just provide a brief comment. And the nice thing is, if this absence applies to my other students in Edmonds School District, I can use this option at the bottom of the screen to copy this information over to my other students just by using this toggle button. So if maybe my family was taking a vacation and I was putting in an absence in for Sam, I could copy that over to my daughter, Anna. When I have this information set up, I will click Submit. And now that request is now pending action from my student's school. When I submit, I will receive an email confirmation to my inbox. The nice thing too, though, is this information is available to all permissible guardians. So if, say, my spouse was trying to also report the absence and they come into this interface, they will see that I've already reported the absence for the 16th and the 19th and review any other absence history the same way that I did. So it hopefully prevent duplication there. And when that request has been fully processed by your school, then additional communications will come out automatically from Skyward to your inbox to say that it's been processed. And that's important to understand that the school is aware of the absence, especially in a situation that is short notice and the student is departing from the campus earlier than the normal dismissal time. So that's an important thing from a safety perspective to ensure that the school is aware of that. And so we recommend potentially using a second means of communicating that absence to your school, such as making a phone call to your student school or sending an email and ensuring you get a response. You know, walking on person in onto the campus and picking up your kid is important. And if we're talking, you know, kindergarten through second grade, that's hopefully what's happening. But as we talk about, you know, potentially if you have a student that's in high school that may have the maturity to exit the campus, they still need to follow the proper procedures at your school for a safe departure. Just a really quick note in general, there are multiple ways that you can report an absence to your school. Skyward is a great method. However, you can also call your school and report that absence. You can send a note with your student. You can send an email to your school. You can find the contact information on your school's website. And I'm probably, you know, I imagine most of the schools have already communicated their attendance and absence procedures to schools or to parents. But if you have not seen that, you're welcome to reach out to your student school and get more of an understanding of what they're looking for in terms of a procedure. In addition to absences, I can see busing information about my student. So if I go ahead and click on the menu at the top right and go ahead and select the busing tab, then from here I can go ahead and see the drop off or the pickup and drop off information for my student, when and where this will happen. I can choose the calendar tab and I can see some important dates that are happening with my student school, as well as I can see the absence from a calendar perspective. We are, as Jason talked about, we are using Parent Square as a preferred means of providing some of those events that are happening. So this is just a supplemental way of seeing calendar information. If I click on the food service tab, then from here I can see my students' food service history, including their current meal balance, and their purchase history. And if for some reason a report card did not make it home, not into your hands, then you can actually access those report cards from Skyward Family Access. Just choose the report cards tab. And from here, you can select the applicable report card and print it out, and then you'll have that copy to review. And if we look at the student information tab here, we can review the students' contact information, their language, some of the demographic information that is stored as your student's record in Skyward. And I can toggle to the family tab here, and I can see the guardians that are listed for my student, Samuel, as well as the emergency contacts for Sam. And if I see information here that needs to be updated, there's a couple ways of doing that. And one would be to contact your school. Another way is through the full version of Skyward Family Access, which we're going to move to right now, because there's a few things you can do through the full version of Family Access that are currently not available through the app. So we're just going to move over to the full version. And again, you can see a lot of, from the full version, you'll be able to access the same information that you can access on the mobile app, such as attendance and busing information. But there's some additional information to highlight here that you can see and interact with. From the Student Family Information Update tab, we will select our student. And here's where we would ask that you, on an annual basis, review and update your students' information, their family contacts, their emergency contacts, review attendance policies, their military family status, and so forth. So let me just kind of walk you through the navigation here. And so on the top right-hand side here, under Annual Information Update, I can see the different steps for reviewing this information. And I can just go ahead and click on the first step there, 1A, and I can go ahead and review my student's name, birth date, native language. I can update their ethnicity and race codes if that's not accurate. I can enter in a home email address, things like that. And once I have that information in, I can click one of these buttons to save that information. And then I can proceed on to the next step. So we'll go ahead and look at the next step, where I can go ahead and review my family information, or my address and mailing address. This information is read-only. So if you need to change it, you'll want to contact your school's office, and that instruction is provided up here in the introduction to this section. And then for our family information area, you can actually update the relationship of different guardians, their email addresses, their second phone numbers. That information is all available to you to update. You can also review the guardian information here. If you see something that is incorrect, again, this is read-only, so you'll want to contact your school's office and have that updated. You can review our district's attendance policy. And you can update the military status for your family. And through Skyward Family Access, you can conveniently fill out a food service application for meal benefits. So we highly recommend families that are eligible for these meal benefits to take advantage of those things. And again, you can conveniently fill out that application from within Skyward Family Access. You can do it from this step in the Student Family Information Update area, or you can do it from the Food Service tab that I'm highlighting right now. And there's additional information as you go through these areas that we'd like you to review and take the applicable action. There's surveys like our Affordable Connectivity Program survey that we'd love for you to fill out. All this information is important for keeping updated records on your student and making sure they get the best experience and service possible from our school district. In addition to filling out the annual information update, we may have some additional forms that we'd like you to complete, and those can be found under online forms just by selecting the online forms tab, and it'll show you all of the forms that are open and available for you to complete. And you can do that for each of the students that you have enrolled here at Edmonds School District. All right, so that concludes our tour of Skyward Family Access. Again, recommend using that forgot login password link to retrieve your username and to reset your password. And again, if you experience any issues with that, please contact your student's school office and they will be able to assist you. All right, with that, I believe I'm turning this back over to Chris.
Great, thank you very much, Sean. Well, that concludes our presentation this evening. Our goal with this evening's webinar was to provide our families with information about the various tools that you can use to engage in your students' learning. If there are specific topics that we have not addressed, or if you'd like us to go deeper in any specific areas in a future Tech Talk, please use the Q&A or the feedback form that I shared with you on the district website to share that with us. We have received a few questions, which I'm going to ask Sean and Jason to help us to answer. Sean, the first one is for you.
Yes.
The question that's asked is about if I can use the same account as my partner to access Skyward on multiple devices.
You can use the same account. However, you both should have separate accounts, and you can both access Skyward Family Access simultaneously from multiple devices. So you've got multiple ways that you can interact and do it concurrently with your spouse. Yeah.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
Jason, the next question asks, which tool should I use to communicate with my teacher, Seesaw or Parent Square?
Thank you for asking that question. As a parent of students in the district myself, my suggestion on this would be to lean on Parent Square for communication, unless you hear otherwise specifically from your student's teacher. The reason why I say that is using the Parent Square communication tools. Those are streamlined with our district email tools. And so regardless of how often the teacher may check the actual Parent Square app, they will get your messages in their email and they will be able to respond immediately. Both tools have strong auto translation features. So if your teacher does suggest using Seesaw, that's certainly an option, but there would be the chance that a teacher may miss Seesaw messages if they're not actively using that app. So again, unless the teacher specifically says Seesaw, I'd highly recommend using Parent Square as the communication platform.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Sean, the last question that we've received thus far is another one for you. And this one asks, if I've reported an absence on the Skyward app as you've shown, do I still need to contact my school office?
And that depends. It's a great question. If you've responded, if you've reported it in a timely fashion, then no. So if your student, for example, is out ill for the day, you can do it through the Skyward app, and that is fine. The situation where we'd recommend contacting the school office is if your student is going to leave campus during the middle of the day or at the, as an early dismissal from school before the end of the day, and it's short notice, say it's the same day that you put the notice in and say, oh, I forgot to report that my student's going to a medical appointment right at the end of the day, then still put it in through Skyward. But we recommend also calling or finding a way to contact your school to make sure that they see it, especially this time of the year where there's a lot of startup for school. I think as the school year progresses, things can move a bit more efficiently in processing our absences. But if you don't receive that fully processed confirmation from the Skyward app, then contacting your school's office is a great way to make sure that they are aware of your students' departure from campus.
Great. Thank you very much, Sean. Another question that we've received touches on student data privacy and asks about opting out from various services. We take student data privacy very seriously and have recently begun a very proactive approach to vetting the various digital tools that we're using in classrooms, as well as at the district level for communication, instruction, and assessment. Google in particular has special service agreements for education, which are different from those that you might find with other public Google services. And those that we adopt are fully compliant with federal law regarding student data privacy. With that said, student data privacy is an important topic, and I would welcome the opportunity to have a future Tech Talk that addresses this and other privacy-related topics. At this time, I don't see any other questions in the Q&A, so I will keep that open for just another minute. And while doing so, I'd like to remind you, we do have the feedback form available on the district website that you can use at any time if you have other topics that come to mind that you'd like us to speak to. If you're struggling with accessing any of the tools that we shared this evening and need some form of support, your school is always a great place to start. And if you think of other topics you'd like us to cover, we welcome that input, because it's our goal to make these responsive to the needs of our community to ensure that families are able to engage richly in their students' learning. I want to thank Jason and Sean, as well as our interpreters this evening, for helping us to ensure that this session was accessible to each of our families. I look forward to future engagement opportunities with each of you, and thank you very much for taking the time to attend this evening. Have a good rest of your night.